Hello, today is Thursday, February the 11th. It's a little bit after 9, and I'm going to try to vlog again. I have a 4-day weekend coming up, and I thought I would attempt to get some reading done. So far, I've read one book in the month of February. I read Parable of the Talents by Octavia E. Butler, and I am going to attempt to read Tituba, Black Witch of Salem. I am a good old 6 pages in. So I'm gonna see if I can get to like the 25 page mark. I don't know. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at vlogging. I have some hot chocolate. I'm gonna read and we'll see what happens this weekend. I'm going to try to do at least 3 things, maybe 4. We'll see. I'm going to finish this book. I'm going to go on, I'm gonna say one hike. I'm going to visit some bookstores. There is one secondhand store that I want to visit, and then another bookstore that sells new books. And so I'm gonna do those 3 things, and then, yes, and then the 4th thing is I want to watch Judas and the Black Messiah. It's a movie about Fred Hampton and the man that originally was supposed to spy on him and give that news to, or give that information to basically the CIA. I'm gonna fact check that if that isn't actually correct. That movie is coming out in select theaters and streaming on HBO Max. I'm not trying to go to any theaters. I think right now it is like a drive-in situation, but I'm gonna try to watch it on HBO Max. So those are the 4 things that I am hoping to accomplish this weekend. So I'm going to read and I'll check in once. Actually, I'll either check in once I get to like the 25 page mark or before I go to sleep. And I will see you then. All right, bye. Yeah, so I'm 8 pages in and I'm already, this is already a lot, which of course it would be a lot. I don't know if I'm in the headspace for this. This is probably going to be a spoiler-filled reading vlog, FYI. Tituba's mother, Abina, was taken from her home country and brought to, I think this is Barbados. Brought to Barbados. Abina was raped by one of the English sailors on the ship. Abina gives birth to Tituba. Along the way, Abina then is basically paired off with another enslaved individual, and the 2 of them have this nurturing relationship. Then Abina and Tituba they go to this place, and Abina then sees the person who assaulted her. You just know how little the white sailor thought of Abina, because as soon as he sees her, he basically is in the process to assault her again. And Abina ends up killing the person who assaulted her, and they end up hanging the mom. It hurts a lot. There were things that maryse added to the story, but I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happened to Tituba's mother or just other enslaved women in general. And the reality of the horrors that Black people had to go through was a lot. And you know, the fact that there are now schools in different states, cough cough, Utah, that are allowing parents to have their children opt out of different history lessons because they don't want to hear it because it's going to paint white people badly or whatever. It's really frustrating, because while those individuals may not be the ones who are physically, again, assaulting, physically violating, that action still shows that they view Black people as less than because they don't believe that those stories or that history is important. Like, they don't believe that the history of enslaved people is important. And it all sucks. Anyways, 8 pages in and I'm already having a meltdown. This is gonna be a long book. I'm going to attempt to read to page 25. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, okay. All right, back to reading. Hey, we're on page 9. But something to note, Abina doesn't actually kill the sailor. She just injures him. However, she committed a crime for which there is no pardon. She had struck a white man. Anyways, I'm gonna attempt to continue reading. Okay, bye. Good morning. Today is Friday, February the 12th. I did in fact read the 25 pages like I wanted to, but then in classic Maya fashion, I fell asleep before I could update. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking her writing, and I guess they would be it's not a metaphor, but just the creative way in which she describes certain things. So the Mama Yaya's character passes away, but instead of saying that, she writes, shortly after my 14th birthday, her body followed the law of nature. And I really enjoy when writers do that, like when they don't explicitly say so-and-so died or this thing happened. There's just that creative way of presenting that. Something that I'm not the biggest fan of, though, is that Tituba's character, she's on her own for a while, and then she meets this young man named John Indian, and she becomes smitten and falls in love with him, and she's really fixated on him. And so now it seems like we're kind of being thrust into her relationship with him or her interactions with him. And I wish there was more time to dwell on that period where Tituba was by herself, because there's a line where basically she says, literally, like, being alone in the swamp was the best part of her life. She was away from men. And I wanted to see more of that. Like, I wanted to kind of see how she used Mama Yaya's words and wisdom to survive, how she was able to commune with her deceased ancestors, but we only got that for a little bit, and then it was like, boom, here's this boy, which I'm sure it makes sense because it's a short book. I personally wished that part of her life was explored a little bit more. Anyways, I am going to attempt to get to page 50. It is currently 7:50, and I will hopefully check in from there or fall asleep. You never know. Hello, and 25 pages later, I am on page 51, and Tituba and her husband John are now in Boston. John's previous mistress died, and she sold them to this really strict, terrible man. It's 9:43. I told myself I would try to get out of bed around 10 so that I could leave my house around 11. And I think that's gonna happen, but we'll see. Also, I have been completely nerding out, and I found a reading spreadsheet that I hope to use this year. Book Riot has a reading spreadsheet that has different formulas so that it calculates all your totals at the end of the year. I made some slight changes to mine, but I'm excited to use it. For work, part of my job, I am helping to compile data for our team, and so usually every day I am, in addition to my counselor duties, I'm also like editing spreadsheets and putting together different formulas. And here I am on my day off doing something similar. Anyways, I'm going to edit my spreadsheet a little bit with my reading updates or rather with the books that I've read up to this point, and I will check in with you all later. We'll see if I have been successful in getting out of bed or if I decide to read some more. All right, check in later. Bye. Wow, look at me. I made it out of bed. I put on real clothes. I even put on earrings. And I am going to head out to go to 2 bookstores and we'll see what happens. I have a list of books that I would like to pick up. My only rule when it comes to buying books is that I can only buy a book that I have already read. So we'll see what happens. I will check in with y'all later. All right, bye. Hello. Wanted to share the books that I was able to pick up. So I have The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. This is Homie by Dennis Smith. A Separate Piece by John Knowles. This is Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Yes, I already have a copy of this, but I prefer the way that this one looks, so I'm going to give the other one away. I picked up The House on Mangrove Street by Sandra Cisneros. I also have Watch Over Me by Lena LaCour. The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. Station 11 by Emily St. John Mendel. This is Lord of the Flies by William Golding. And then this is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. And look at this cool cover. I had been hoping to pick up a copy of this book, but I wasn't fond of what the other covers looked like, but I really enjoy this one. And look at that on the back. So yes, so I was hoping to get to some bookstores during my 4-day weekend, and I have accomplished that and picked up quite a few number of books. I'm going to grab some lunch and then I am going to continue reading. All right, bye. Good morning from my bathroom. It is Saturday, February the 13th, and I just wanted to share my shirt. So this says Fight Evil, Read Books. It has some cool witchy vibes going on. I got this from, what's it called? Out of Print. I hope they still have these shirts available, but I will put the link below if other people are interested in getting this shirt. I will do a proper check-in in a bit, but I just had to show this, and I probably will never take this off. Hello again. I wanted to do a proper check-in regarding this book. I'm currently on page 86. And I'm just about to start part 2. Tituba and her husband John, like I mentioned, they were sold to another family and then they moved from Barbados to Boston. And then from there they moved from Boston to Salem. Now we're seeing the way that Tituba is relating to the new family with the wife as well as the wife's child and their cousin. You can really see that Tituba is forming this bond with the wife. So her first name is Elizabeth and she is the wife of Samuel Parris. You kind of see this camaraderie that the two are forming. You can tell that Elizabeth, the wife, is afraid of her husband, and you can see how she is oppressed as well, obviously in a different way, but you see the fear that the wife is in to like express any type of emotion or do anything that's going to be deemed unholy. All the while Tituba is, you know, using the potions, not even the potions, but using the recipes and the knowledge that she learned from Mama Yaya to help out the family. But unfortunately, because it's misunderstood, it's not considered Christian, then it's considered satanic. And we're getting to the part where Tituba is being accused of being a witch. And there was a line in the book, I have to find it, but basically it was saying how the people in the town, because of the color of her skin, they automatically associate that with being in cahoots with Satan. There's like a particular phrase. It's not like a deputy of Satan, but it's something along those lines. I personally don't know how this is going to end. I have a feeling I know how this is going to end, but I am very interested in seeing how the story is going to progress. Along the way, we're seeing how Tituba's husband, John, is dealing with everything as well. And the two of them have a conversation where Tituba accuses John of being a happy slave. And we're seeing how John basically shares that everything that he does is for survival, and so if he's talking to people, it's a way of putting on this mask so that he will appear to be, you know, like non-threatening. This is a conversation that they're having. So this is Tituba. Well, you're a fine one to talk, John Indian. You're like a puppet in their hands. I'll pull this string and you'll pull that one. And then this is John talking. I wear a mask, my tormented wife. Painted the colors they want. Red bulging lips? Yes, massa. Thick black lips? Yes, missy. The nose flattened like a toad? At your service, ladies and gentlemen. And behind all that, I, John Indian, am free. I watched you lick that little Betsy like barley sugar, and I say to myself, I just hope she ain't going to be disappointed. So we see that John is able to put on that mask, and I think distance himself from the people that he is serving, because he knows that the people in the town are not trustworthy, and so he has to build up this wall to protect himself. I think I'm about almost halfway, because again, the book itself, like the story itself, is done on page 179, but there is the historical note glossary afterwards and bibliography to go. So I'm going to continue reading this. Also, I watched Judas and the Black Messiah yesterday, so check that thing off of my 4-day weekend to-do list, and it hurts. If I'm thinking about the movie itself, like just about the bare bones of it, I thought that the movie itself was beautiful. Like the shots, the lighting, it was gorgeous. What I really loved was that there are so many different colors. So a lot of the Black people and just melanated people that were in the movie, they all had different skin tones, and the lighting was such that everybody looked good. I know that, oh my gosh, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Daniel, the one who played Fred Hampton, he's very brown and he still looked good. I think sometimes when there are brown, like really deep brown characters, the lighting makes them look horrible, like sick or gray, and that wasn't the case in my eyes, at least. So I thought that was amazing to see. The acting was beautiful. The plot, heart-wrenching. I personally now want to see how much of the movie was historically accurate, and I also want to see how Hampton's family felt about it. I know that Fred Hampton Jr. is currently raising money to, oh my gosh, my mind is drawing a blank, but I know that he's currently raising money to keep like a building open, or to keep it well ran, or like keep it up to date. So it's really strange how like we have this movie that's out, and yet his son had to post a GoFundMe to keep something up and running. So like I'm hoping that the money from the movie is going to the family. But yeah, we'll see. I'm still processing all of it. I think it's also really tough to see how some of the things that were mentioned in the movie, and a lot of the things that took place in the 60s, are still things that we're fighting for now. It was really, I think it was really fitting how toward the beginning of the movie they were discussing like renaming Howard University to, I think it was like X College or Malcolm X College or something like that. And the line, I don't know if this is historically accurate, but basically the line Fred Hampton said was like, sure, we're going to rename the college, but these people are still going to be suffering. And that concept is something that I'm very much dealing with, because sure, like, we can take down these statues which need to be taken down, but like, we can take these down, we can rename our schools, we can rename plazas and put Black Lives Matter on the ground, but what are we actually doing? Like, about to get political, but like, are we actually funding our communities? Are we actually putting money into the schools where our Black and brown kids are? Like, are we actually putting money into mental health? Are we actually defunding the police? Like, I'm so, I don't know if this footage is going to see the light of day, but I'm just so tired of lip service and these performative actions. It's just like, just shallow things, but nothing is actually happening or actually getting done. So I think in watching the movie, it was really heavy for me, because you feel for the lives that were portrayed on the screen, and I also then thought about current day and how this stuff is still happening and how there doesn't seem to be any like resolve. But I was able to watch the movie. Yeah, so if this footage sees the light of day, and if you have watched that, please let me know your thoughts. But I'm gonna read a little bit more. I probably am going to do a little palate cleanse and watch the latest episode of WandaVision. My roommates watch that TV show, so they've already seen the episode, and they told me that not a lot of things get resolved, but I'm still going to watch it because I'm invested. I will check in with y'all later. Most likely I'll still be wearing this shirt. Alright, bye!
The coats, right? Okay. Hey, Georgie friend. Hello.
Hi friends, it's currently Saturday, February 14th, aka my half birthday. And I just finished I Tituba Black Witch of Salem by Maryse Condé. Wow. I think it might take me some time before I can fully express my feelings about this book. Something that was really great, though, it's something that I usually don't do. In this book, there is the book itself, like I mentioned, and then there's an afterword. And usually I don't read forewords or afterwards. Well, I particularly don't read forewords because sometimes it will spoil the book, and that happened to me once, and from then on I was like, never again. But the afterword gave so much more insight about Condé as an author, and also like what she attempted to do in this book and why she wrote about Tituba. There's also an interview between, oh my goodness, I just looked this person up and I don't remember who it was, but between a scholar and Condé. And it's really interesting because Condé herself says not to take the book that seriously. Condé mentions how while Tituba was a real person, and some of the things that are mentioned in the book are true, a lot of it is up to speculation. And this is obviously due to racism and the fact that there isn't a lot of information about the Black figures that were living in the States or just in general before a certain period of time, and that Condé wasn't attempting to write this completely accurate historical account about her life. Condé was writing and using her own imagination about what she thought the character or what she thought Tituba would be like. Condé just wrote what she felt led to do. I think it's also interesting that this book is considered to be a mock epic, and I had to look that up. With a mock epic. It's basically a story that is parodying these heroic tales and making that main character have like such attributes that are almost like over the top. And with Tituba's character, we see that in spite of the things that happen to her, she still is like, well, I still need to help these people out. I still need to do things for good, blah blah blah. And you see her being like almost unwavering in this kind of positive mindset that she has. So it's just interesting to note that. Something else is that in the book, Tituba meets Hester, who is in the Scarlet Letter. And as someone who hasn't read the Scarlet Letter, I'm reading this, and in my head, Hester is a family name. So we have relatives with that last name. So me, in my head, I'm seeing that and being like, oh my gosh, Hester. But I think if people have actually read the Scarlet Letter, they'll be like, what? Oh my goodness. It's really amazing to see how Condé used that character in this book, and then used Hester as a way to like speak about how unfair women are treated, and kind of like talking about feminism, even though like this book takes place in the 1600s, like 1600s, 1700s, when that word was like not even thought of at all. I really liked seeing that. I don't know, just seeing the nature of the book. So you see how she is, um, discussing these things that are happening, like talking about these serious things that are happening to these women, and also like taking the piss out of different like ideologies or whatever. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of cheeky, I think. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what else to say about this book. I really enjoyed Condé's writing because they're like interspersed throughout, there are these like amazing one liners or just these really beautiful passages. And I think that's something that I really enjoy, is like kind of reading that semi flowery writing. And she does a really great job of um, balancing those types of passages with the more like concrete or literal ways of describing things. So I really enjoyed this. Now I think I want to read more books where the author has this additional meaning or kind of intention behind it, and you can't just take it at face value. So, like, in reading this, if I didn't read the afterword, I would have been like, oh my gosh, like, Tituba, great character, blah, 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 blah. But then, like, not fully seeing what the author really wanted the reader to get out of the book, if that makes sense. And I feel like with The Sellout, that was a book that I personally had a difficult time reading when I tried a couple of years ago, because I was just like, this writing is just so crass, like I can't get into it. But it's like, well, duh, like that's the point. Anyways, I'm currently watching Bree's sprints that she holds on Sunday. For me, it's like Sunday morning into the afternoon. So I might try to pick up another book. I have the Empress of Salt and Fortune. I don't know if that's correct. I have a novella, um, and I think I'm gonna try to read that. Hopefully, I can finish it today. I honestly have no idea what it's about. I just really enjoyed looking at the cover. So, hopefully, the inside of the book matches the outside. But I will check in with y'all later. All right, bye. What a great opening line. Okay, let me start reading and see what this is actually about. Hi, friends. So, I literally just started The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nghi, and this book does something that I really enjoy, and that is when you are just thrown into a story and a lot of stuff is mentioned without being explained, and I don't know why, but I really, really like it, because then you have to start figuring out kind of by yourself, like, what these different beings are, what they look like, their descriptions, their personalities, like without your hand being held. And already I'm thinking that. And I think the main character also uses they them pronouns. And it's so cool because it's just in it, right? Like nothing is being like explained or like, oh, this person goes by blah blah blah. It's just like, no, they just mention so and then they say so and they looked at their feet or they looked at the water. Like it's just so like already ingrained in it. So I'm already impressed. I still don't know what's going on. I'm like 2 pages in. Oh, excuse me. I'm 4 pages in. Still have no idea what's going on, but I just wanted to mention that because that's something that I really enjoy with like my books and movies too. Anyways, I'm gonna continue reading. I will check in later. Hello, friends. It's probably a little bit after 3. I don't know if that's accurate. I finished another book today. What? I was able to finish the Empress of Salt and Fortune. This is by nghi. This is it's a novella, and I'm trying to even think about how to describe it. But because it's so short, I don't want to give anything away. The book follows Chi, who is this cleric, and they were sent by the divine to go to Lake Scarlet or something like that. And they end up meeting this older woman, and the older woman then tells them basically the story of her life and the story of the previous empress. I want to look up different interviews with nghi because here's the thing about this book. Like I mentioned before, you kind of just jump in and things start making sense throughout, and there's something very compelling about this. And even when I didn't completely understand something, I wanted to keep going because I wanted to know what happened to the characters. It's kind of funny because in the book itself, when the older woman is telling these different stories, she would end with, "Do you understand?" to Chi, and she would be like, "No, not quite, but I'm still going to record everything that you say, and I'm still going to listen to everything that you say." And I was like, same. This is not a descriptive review at all, but if you've read this, let me know. Apparently, there is a sequel, which is really interesting to me because I felt like this could have just been it. I think it wrapped up very well, and it leaves you, I will say this, it leaves you curious about what is going to happen next, but I wasn't devastated that the book ended there. And with this one, I felt content with the ending. The writing was so beautiful. So yeah, so I've read 2 books this weekend. For the month of February, I did want to read Beloved and Invisible Man. I think if I feel up to it, I might try to start Beloved, just because that is a library book, but I think I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to start reading that because I want to let the books that I've read kind of sink in a little bit before rushing into something else. So I will let you know if I do that, if I actually start the book tomorrow, or if not, I will wrap up this vlog. I'm trying to remember what my to-dos were. I think one of the to-dos were to read and finish I, Tituba, Black Witch of Salem, which I did. Another one was to watch Judas and the Black Messiah, which I also did. Another one I think was to go to some bookstores, did that. Oh, I think the fourth one was to go on a hike. So I haven't had the energy to do that today, but I might try to do that tomorrow. So we shall see. And I will check in with y'all later. All right, bye. Good morning. Today is Monday, February the 15th. Today is the last day of my 4-day weekend, and I am going to attempt to go on a hike. I'm going about an hour and a half northeast of where I am, so it's going to be considerably colder, which is kind of fun, but I think a little bit scary. Not scary, but it's just different because I think I've lost all of my cold blood now that I'm in Southern California. So I'm going to try to regain that with this hike. Yesterday, I was feeling a bit mopey. And then I decided to end my night by reading some previous journal entries. Boy, it was hilarious and messy. And I think the funny part is that these journals, like the entries were only from last year. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm reading stuff from my high school stuff. Like, no, this is still adult Maya, just a different version of adult Maya. Some of it was actually kind of, I don't know what the word is quite, but it was kind of cool to see how, like, there were things that I wanted to do or things that I wanted to work on then, and kind of seeing now being like, oh my gosh, you've done this or you're doing this thing. A lot of cringe moments, of course, but that's life. I will say there's nothing more humbling than reading your old journal entries. Am I right or am I right? Yeah, so if you journal, let me know if you ever read your old stuff, because it's very interesting. Anyways, I'm gonna attempt to get ready, not attempt, I'm going to get ready so that I can at least try to get there around 9:30, and then we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to infuse the vlog with some nature clips. So yeah, so I'm going to get off my chair and I will see y'all out there in the great outdoors. All right, bye.
I'm feeling your love, just like a blue skies now. How did things go so wrong? I've been losing you all along.
So I'm out here hiking, and I'm pretty sure I could have shaved off a lot of time, but I keep stopping and taking pictures because it's so beautiful out here. Like, I've missed trees and snow a lot. So this is a nice reset. Okay, gonna continue. Bye.
You don't come around here anymore. I was waiting for love.
Hi friends. Remember that one time where I was like, I'm gonna start Beloved today? That didn't happen. I went on my hike, and then I took an outdoor dance class, and I am pooped. So I'm going to end the vlog here. I think on the whole, I have spent my 4-day weekend the way that I wanted to, which was exciting. And I'm going to shower. I'm going to chillax, maybe catch up on some YouTube videos, and get ready to go back to work tomorrow. I hope that you all, whoever is watching this, enjoyed my little vloggy vlog. Hopefully there was enough reading. Hopefully there was enough life updates and enough nature shots. I hope that you all are doing well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!